Hello friends, I welcome you to today's webinar which is powered by Greenery Pro. So today we'll discuss about the nitrogen deficiency in the ornamental plants and its management practices. So what we have thought that we will divide this topic in three parts. So in today's part we'll discuss on the first topic that how the nitrogen is taken up by the plants and how it is important for the plants or how it utilizes the nitrogen. So my name is Dipankar. I am a PhD scholar at Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi. So the first thing we'll discuss that how the plants take up the nitrogen. So as you can see that the nitrogen here in plants, it is available in two form actually. So the first form is the nitrate form and the second form is ammonium form. So most of the plants they use the nitrate form of the nitrogen, and some of the plants like rice they use the ammonium form. So the two form the plant take up the nitrogen, one is nitrate and one is ammonia. So in the right of the image, if you can see that the nitrogen it is actually very much mobile. Mobile that means in terms of is movement. So from the roots it can go up to the top of the plant very easily. So there are certain other nutrients which cannot move that much like nitrogen. So what happens when there is some sort of deficiency symptoms? It appears to the lower leaves because whatever nitrogen is present, it can go to the top of the plant. So the lower leaves it shows the deficiency symptoms. So we can see in the later coming slides or presentations that how the symptoms comes to the plant and how it affect mainly to the lower plant and then gradually it go to the upside or the middle leaf then the top leaf. So in basically the top leaf they used to be green under nitrogen deficiency, but the lower leaves it shows the higher deficiency symptoms. So these are the two ways that plant take up the nitrogen, and then we'll see that how or why this nitrogen is required for plants. So basically there are three topics. So basically, there are 3 points where nitrogen can be utilized in the plants. So this is a little bit more description that how this nitrogen is utilized. So for that, it is utilized at first in the form of or to make the proteins. So you all know about the proteins, but when we go inside the protein, we come to know that there are certain units that helps to make the protein, and those units are called amino acids. So these amino acids they come together and form the protein. So in this case you can see that there are three amino acids in the first picture, and then they are bound to means three of the amino acids they get bound, and like that many amino acids they bound, and after that they form the shape of the protein. So this is the process, and we can see that when the amino acid they get bound, actually the nitrogen is utilized in between. That means the bond. So when there is a bond, the nitrogen is actually used in these bonds. So this is just very general information. And after that, the chain of the amino acid through different uh, bond and other different bonds they form a coagulative structure or different secondary or primary structures. So these structures are called protein. The second form where nitrogen is utilized is chlorophyll. So chlorophyll for plants is very common or very important factor because this chlorophyll is actually the greenness of the plant. So when you see the green leaf, it is actually because of the chlorophyll. So this chlorophyll how it helps, these chlorophylls they are the basic component for photosynthesis. So they are used in the process of photosynthesis. So they help in capturing the sunlight and it converts the sunlight and other the CO2 and utilizing the water. So they convert the carbon to the available form. So we can see here in a leaf, if you observe properly, there are cells, and inside the cells there are small disc shape of green colored compounds. So these compounds are called the chloroplast. So in the chloroplast we have the chlorophyll, and in this chlorophyll you can see the last picture that there is a structure. This structure you can see in the middle there is magnesium, and the magnesium is bound to the 4 of the nitrogen. So this is very important point, that how nitrogen is utilized. So in chlorophyll we have the nitrogens, and these nitrogens or the chlorophyll, they help in the process of photosynthesis. So next we will see that one of the major or very important factor where nitrogen is utilized, this is nucleic acid. So you might have heard of DNA, RNA. So these are called actually nucleic acid. So there are different forms of DNA and RNA. So in DNA, RNA there are basically the nitrogenous base. So this nitrogenous base like adenine, guanine, thymine, cytosine. So this nitrogenous base, they contain the nitrogen, and when these nitrogenous base come together, means they bind one to another, and adenine to thymine and guanine to cytosine, they form bond, and after forming the bond, the structure of DNA comes. So this is the basic unit for nucleic acid or DNA, RNA. This way the nitrogen is utilized in case of plants. So we have seen that there are three ways how nitrogen is utilized. One is in the form of, like we have said, the nucleic acid or DNA, RNA, then in the chlorophylls, and then in the protein. So these are the basic three points where nitrogen is utilized. So in the coming video we'll discuss on the nitrogen deficiency symptoms. So for the to make it easy for our viewers, we are making it in three different parts. So we request you all to follow our next video, and there we will show you the different nitrogen deficiency symptoms in plant, and then the third video will discuss on how to tackle this nitrogen deficiency in plant. So thank you all, and please follow up our next videos. Hello, I welcome you to our second session of nitrogen deficiency. To this webinar, we'll discuss on the deficiency symptoms of nitrogen in plant. So this webinar is powered by Greenery Pro, and my name is Dipankar Burman. I am a PhD scholar in Indian Agriculture Research Institute. So basically, we'll just give a bit of our previous class description. So in previous webinar, we have seen that how plants take up the nitrogen into form, that is nitrate and ammonia form, and we have seen that this nitrogen is mobile. That means it can go to the top of the plant very easily. And we have seen that how the nitrogen is utilized in plant. So it is utilized in the form of protein, chlorophyll, and also in the nucleic acid. So today we'll discuss that the symptoms of the nitrogen deficiency. So uh, when we study the different deficiency symptoms of the nutrients, we basically follow one of the chart, that is called deficiency chart of nutrients. So in this chart we can see that the place of the deficiency symptom, that means for a certain nutrient, the symptoms does not come throughout the plant. So it comes to certain, like lower part or middle part or the higher upper part of the plant. So in case of nitrogen, you can see if you concentrate the lower part of the plant, that means the lower leaf. So this lower leaf is actually getting more of the expression of deficiency. This is because when there is less amount of nitrogen, the nitrogen, because it is easily it is mobile element, it can easily go to the top of the plant. So when it goes to the top of the plant, there is less nitrogen to the lower part of the plant, and in this condition the lower leaves they shows deficiency symptom. So at the right side you can see that a typical, or you can see this is the mark of nitrogen deficiency, that in a leaf the nitrogen deficiency symptoms appear from the tip of the leaf and it goes towards the down part of the leaf or to the basal part of the leaf, and the shape generally it have a V shape of yellowing. So this yellowing is because the chlorophyll, because we have seen that the chlorophyll contain nitrogen, and when the nitrogen is not there or not available, the formation of chlorophyll get reduced, and so the green color is reduced and the yellow color is coming up. And in the last image you can see that there is a uh, Erica nut plant, and this plant because of nitrogen deficiency, what is happening, the leaf they are getting very much yellow. This is actually severe nitrogen deficiency because the leaf most of the leaves uh, except the topmost of the leaf, all other leaves are yellow. So what is happening here, because of the severe deficiency all the leaves are getting yellow, and the stem if you look properly it is short, that means dwarf. So growth is stunted, and if you properly focus on the leaf base area, the growth of the base, that means node to node, that means leaf to leaf, there is very less growth. So the growth gets stunted due to nitrogen deficiency. And we'll see some other deficiency, like in case of banana you can see that how the deficiency symptom is coming. So almost it is like in case of all the plants the symptoms are similar. So it starts from the base and go towards the top of the plant. So in severe deficiency almost the whole plant get yellow except the apical part or the topmost leaves, and the leaves are falling, that means there is drooping on the leaves, that means there is senescence. And in the left side image or the first image you can see the similar type of symptoms, that the leaves are falling, it is getting yellow, and the lower leaves they are senescing, that means they are dropping. So this is a very typical example of nitrogen deficiency. And some other example, so this is a palm, or you can say a small ornamental plants, ornamental palm tree. And in this tree in the left side this is a normal condition where there is no nitrogen deficiency, and in the right side you can see the effect of nitrogen deficiency. So the whole plant, this is because very severe symptom, so the whole plant is getting yellowing here, but in the left side it is totally green. So this is very easy, and we have to remember that generally there is no spots in the leaf when there is nitrogen deficiency. So we will go to the next slide where we will show you that how the other plants are showing nitrogen deficiency. So in the left side we have the azalea plant, and this plant it is very clear symptom of nitrogen deficiency. From the lower part the yellowing is starting and it is coming to the top of the plant, and at the top side of the plant or the topmost leaves they are green because the nitrogen whatever is present it is moving toward the top of the plant, and the lower plant they are not having any nitrogen, so they are showing the nitrogen deficiency. In the right side you have the papaya tree. So in this papaya plant you can see a severe nitrogen deficiency symptom. So the lower leaves they are drooping or senescing, and the higher leaves they are the middle lower to middle leaves they are having the yellowish color, and this is a typical nitrogen deficiency symptom. And the higher leaves they are still they are green. So after certain time the whole plant will look very much yellow in color and the leaf will fall down. And the bottom there is a sunflower plant, and the left side it is a control plant, that means no deficiency symptom, but the right side it is minus n, that means there is a deficiency in n means nitrogen. So in deficiency the lower leaves they first get yellow, and after getting yellow they are getting brown, that means they are dying. So after dying they will fall down, so that means the lower leaves they get senescence, and only the topmost leaf they remain green. So here we'll end today's presentation. So this webinar we have discussed that how the nitrogen deficiency symptoms looks like, and the next coming presentation webinar will show you that how we can control this problem of nitrogen deficiency. So thank you all. We request you to follow up our third video on nitrogen deficiency, that how we can manage the nitrogen deficiency. Thank you all. Hello friends, I welcome you to today's webinar, which is powered by Greenery Pro. So today we'll discuss on nitrogen deficiency symptoms and how we can manage the nitrogen deficiency. So in our last two videos, we have discussed that how the nitrogen is important for the plant, how the plant is taking up the nitrogen, and why it is required for the plant. And then in our second video, we have discussed that how the nitrogen deficiency symptom looks like. So we'll just go through once to our previous slides to have to remember all the things that we have discussed. So we have discussed that the plant take up the nitrogen in two form, that is nitrate and ammonia form, and because nitrogen is a mobile element, so it can go to the top of the plant very easily, and when there is deficiency, the lower leaf shows deficiency because nitrogen goes up to the plant. And then we have discussed that why nitrogen is required for plant. So we have discussed that protein and chlorophyll, they require nitrogen, and also the nucleic acid, they require nitrogen. So this is how the nitrogen is utilized in plant. And we have discussed that the deficiency symptom. So we discussed the V-shape yellowing, which is where you can say a very clear mark of nitrogen deficiency, and the lower parts it get yellow in color, and it grows and the yellowing of this plant, it grows upward with time. So this is a nitrogen deficiency symptom in case of banana. And we have shown you nitrogen deficiency symptom in ornamental palm plant, and also in papaya, sunflower. We have shown you that how the nitrogen deficiency symptom look like. So by now you have to be clear that how it look like. So we have to detect the problem first. So this is the detection stage, and today we'll discuss that how this nitrogen deficiency symptom can be controlled. So at first we'll see that why it is occurring, because there are certain type of soils, and this type of soils, so mainly who are doing the orchard of like your fruits, and also for flowers, for commercial cultivation, so they have big land, and in this big land, because of the soil, sometimes we see the nitrogen deficiency symptom. So there are soils which have very low soil organic matter. So if the organic matter in the soil is very less, that is one of the reason for nitrogen deficiency symptom. So for commercial cultivation, it is always recommended that before you start growing the plants, you should do the soil testing and check out all the parameters in your soil, and then accordingly you apply the fertilizers or other recommendations as given by the testing lab, and then you start your cultivation. So having lower organic matter is one of the major important reason for nitrogen deficiency, with particular constraints to indigenous nitrogen supply. So sometimes what happens, the soil have acidic condition, or acidic sulfate condition, or the soil is saline, or phosphorus deficient soil, or there is poor drainage in case of soil. So in this type of soil you can see the nitrogen deficiency symptom. And some other soil like alkaline and calcareous soil with low soil organic matter, these also have the nitrogen deficiency symptom. And sometimes there is high volatilization loss of nitrogen, and because of that the deficiency symptom may happen. And when there is water logging condition, so because of the water logging also there may be a problem of nitrogen deficiency. And sometimes what happens, due to excessive cultivation practices, there is loss of nitrogen over time, and it may also cause the deficiency in the upcoming crops. So this is one of the these are some of the reasons for the nitrogen deficiency. Here you can see at the corner of the plant that this is basically a rice plant. So we should not means in most of the crops the symptoms are similar, so we should not be thinking that, oh, this is rice plant, we should not follow this. So it is not like that. So nitrogen here, when there is no nitrogen, the plant gets stunted and there is yellowing of the plant. And with higher nitrogen, the greening color of the plant, we can see that the plant is growing very properly and it is very much green, having very much or high number of tillers. So these tillers help in more productivity. So in case of other plants, we can have more number of branching. So we'll see that basically what we have discussed in earlier classes, that how it is how we can detect the deficiency. So it is very clear example. This is a tobacco plant. So in tobacco plant you can see the lower leaves, they are fully yellow, and the middle leaves they are getting yellow color, and the topmost leaf they are getting, and the topmost leaf they are very narrow and small, and the growth is very much less. That means it is not growing as according to the normal plant. So I'll just read out the symptoms once again. The leaves they become narrow, short, erect means they are not, they are going to upward, so this is erect, and lemon yellowish color, or maybe little bit yellowish green, so it depends. And nitrogen deficient plants are stunted. Stunted means they are growing small, they are not growing like normal plant, so this means stunted. And the branching is limited, that means there is very less number of branching. So we have seen in the last slide that the rice plant they have less number of tillers, so this in case of rice, but in case of plants the branching get reduced. So the symptom, it is generally occur in the older leaves, and sometimes all the leaves becomes light green. That means in high severe condition of nitrogen deficiency, all the leaves become light green in color. Paleolochlorosis begin at the tip of the leaf and progress toward the base. So we have seen the V-shape yellowing, that from the tip it is progressing to the base of the leaf. In severe cases, the whole leaf becomes pale brown, then withers away. So when the case is very much severe, then there is browning of the leaves. We have seen in the sunflower plant that from the tip the browning comes or starts, and then drying of the leaves, and then the withering of the leaf. So the leaf fall down in severe case. The flowering greatly reduced. So due to the nitrogen deficiency, because it is very important factor in case of plant, so the flowering it get reduced, because the flower they need a lot of nitrogen for their proper growth and development. And then nitrogen deficiency can be misjudged with sulfur. So this is very important point here, that sometimes we get confused with the nitrogen deficiency with other deficiency. So how we have to we need to differentiate these two deficiencies. So for nitrogen deficiency we have to be very much vigilant, that from where it is starting. So when it is starting from the very lower leaf, that means it is nitrogen deficiency. But the if the same deficiency is also coming to the top leaf, or the topmost leaf, so it can be sulfur or iron deficiency, because sulfur and iron, because they are less mobile, they cannot move towards the top part of the plant. So when there is deficiency, the because they are remaining in the lower part, the higher upper part they are showing the deficiency in case of sulfur and iron. So the top leaf they have the symptoms in case of sulfur and iron, and then it may spread toward the whole leaf. So in case of nitrogen it starts from the lower part, in case of iron and sulfur it starts from the upper part. So this is the difference. So coming to the management part, so in case of management, we divided it in two parts. That is, for those who are having big land and doing some commercial cultivation, and for those who are having like for ornamental or house in house inside house, they like to decorate with the plants for them. So first we'll discuss for the commercial practices, that how the nitrogen deficiency is controlled. So first recommendation is that before planting you should go for soil testing. So you should have soil from different point of the land, multiple points of the land which is spreaded throughout the field, and then you go for nitrogen testing in the lab. So at the same time you can do for the other nutrient also. So in this testing you should apply, means they will give some recommendation of nitrogen to be applied, and based on their testing lab recommendation we should apply one third of the recommended dose of nitrogen at basal. Basal means inside the soil, so it is not spreading like through hand or some machine we spread the nitrogen over the field. It is not like that, so it is basal application. Basal means inside the soil. So basically what we can do, when the plant is means when the planting is going, so just like few feet away from the base of the plant you can make a furrow or some type of drain which is a circle in the circle shape, and put the nitrogen dose accordingly as described or as recommended by the testing lab, and then just cover it. So you should not put it at the base of the root, so otherwise the plant will die. So it should be away from the root, and the testing lab will tell you how to use this. Then after that, after the plants are going, we can split the doses of urea. So in case of this flowering plants, we can do this splitting system, but in case of this fruit orchard we cannot do this urea splitting system. We have to put all the urea as a basal dose. So we can do what is that we can divide in two dose or three dose. So all the dose should go for basal dose in case of fruiting plants, but in case of small flowering plants we can go for this top spreading. So you spread the urea through hand, or you have a device for that. And so this is the process. And you can use the leaf color chart. So there is a leaf color chart which is available. So based on these images, that means there are greenness. So in that chart we have different modules, and this module contain different colors. So like from dark green to light green to yellow. So we just take the leaf and match according to the color given in the chart, and from there you can see the level of deficiency. This is very much used for by the farmers. And then we can use different nitrogen fertilizers. So it may be organic. So in case of organic we have the manures and compost or green manures. So this organic fertilizer we can apply. This is actually best for the plants, but at the same time if we have a very large field, then we can go for also inorganic fertilizers. So you can use a 2% of urea solution also as foliar spray. So this foliar spray is very much effective because it is very quick, and the recovery is very fast. So we can use 2% of urea solution as foliar spray. But the thing is that in case of flowering plants, this 2% can be reduced to 0.5, reduced to 0.5%, because the leaves are very much soft. So we do not go for higher concentration, otherwise it may affect the leaf, or leaf can die. So we go for lower concentration in case of very soft type of plant. Or other type of plant like fruit trees, we can go for 2% of this urea spray, and we can repeat this spray for 10 to 15 days interval. So like two times or three times depending on the condition. And we can also go for legume plantation, because this legume or pulses, or in it is also called as dal. So this dal is also having some type of like they can accumulate the nitrogen in their roots. So we can go for that also. And then these plants we can have some harvesting also. So this is helpful from economical purpose also, and also it helps to manage the soil nitrogen content. So this management is applicable for the farmers who have the commercial application or commercial cultivation practices for fruits and flowers. So they can follow this management practice. And for those who have the plants indoor for decorating their say garden or decorating their home, So for them, they go for a different type of management practice. So for this, what we do generally, if you have a big pot, we use 5 to 7 granules of urea, or neem coated urea. This neem coated urea is slow releasing urea, and we apply this urea away from the root zone. That means not directly to the root, away from the root, and we water. So otherwise it will affect. So we water, and we do this in the evening time generally. And in small pot we can do what, is that we can use 5 6 granules of urea. We can add to 50 ml, add to 500 ml of water, and in that 500 ml of water, this 5 6 granules of urea, we can just make it dissolve, and then we can put in the pot. So we can say, you can put not the whole amount, you can put in 2 times or 3 times after say 10 days interval. So we can put half and then half after 10 days interval. And the best practice is to use organic fertilizer. So like we have nowadays, these organic fertilizers are very much available in town, like as a compost or vermicompost. There are many organic fertilizers, so you can have a packet of organic fertilizer which you can buy, and then you can apply accordingly. And then the last and quick response for the plant is to spray. So you can spray like zero point 0.5, as we have discussed earlier, 0.5 to 4% urea. So this 0.5 to 4%, 4% is for big trees. So for small plants we can use 0.5%. So for 0.5% of urea, what you can do, we can take 1 tablespoon of urea and we can add it in 4 liter of water. So 4 liter of water, it is just approximate, it will give 0.5% of urea. And like I'll repeat again, 1 tablespoon of urea in 4 liter of water. So after mixing it properly, we can spray it like 2 times or 3 times, depending on our condition. So basically the spraying is done in the evening time, because it have a very good quality, means in the evening time when we do the spraying, because the sunlight is not there, so plant slowly uptake this urea, and the response is very quick. So I hope this is very helpful for those who have the orchard of fruits and flowers, and also for those who have indoor plants. Please follow up our upcoming videos, and in other videos we'll discuss on the different types of other nutrient deficiency and how to control them. And after that we'll also discuss on different type of disease management, insect pest management, and also other say in-house plant management practices. So thank you all. Um Follow up our Greenery Pro site. So all the videos will be uploaded on the Greenery Pro site. So you can follow up the videos there. Thank you very much.